ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिक्षीदसादनं प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती दीनामवित्रगवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरः ॐ ओं श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां श्रीकण्ठाराध्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां सदाशिवं शिवां स्कन्दं केशवं पद्मसम्भवं नन्दीश्वरं कुम्भयोनिं भरद्वाजात्रिगौतमान् नमोऽस्तु गुरवे नित्यं श्रीकण्ठशिवयोगिने श्रुतिसारशिवविशिष्टाद्वैत परभाष्यविदायिने त्रैलोक्यसम्पदालेख्यसमुल्लेखनभित्तये सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय शिवाय ब्रह्मणे नमः जगद्गुरु श्रीरेणुकाचार्य मङ्गलं देहि प्रभो साम्ब शिवाय नमः साम्ब शिवाय नमः साम्ब शिवाय नमः. So in the last class, yesterday's class, we saw about the Upabrahmanam for Atharvashiras Upanishad present in the Sutta Samhita, second chapter, which lists out the story on how the Devas how it actually starts off with a question. Who is the cause of all causes? The sages were questioning Sutta Maharshi, who is the cause of all causes? And then Sutta Maharshi gives out this story from the Atharvashiras Upanishad. And Brahma and Vishnu and Indra and were inquiring who is the cause of all causes, and then Mahadeva he manifests himself in front of the Devas and gives the knowledge of Mahapashupata Vratam to attain him. We saw that, and we saw many references how actually the meditation on Mahadeva should be done. The features, divine features of Mahadeva, will be going through that today also in detail. So, Valagra matram vishvesham jataveda swarupinam hritpadma karnika madhye dhyatva veda vidam varaha. We saw that 20th verse of the second chapter Sutta Samhita says, Valagra matram. In the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, it is described that if you take the tip of the hair and cut that into 10,000 pieces, that is actually the size of the soul. Mahadeva is described as the minutest of the minutest, smallest of the smallest. But still, he is present as the smallest of the smallest in the heart, but still he is all pervading. And still he is described as the greatest of the greatest. And we have very similar verses, Valagra Matram, told in the Atharvashiras. Atharvashiras also says, Valagra Matram Hridayasya Madhye Vishwam Devam Jata Rupam Varenyam Tam Atmastam Yenu Pashyanti Dhirastesham Shantir Bhavati Netaresham. Though he is present as the smallest of the smallest in the heart, he is pervading all over the body. He is present as consciousness. And Mahanarayana Upanishad also says, Nivara Shukavatanvi Pitaba Aspatyanupama. We see that paddy, the grain, the size or the bristle in the brush, that is actually the size. That is described as the size of the soul. And then Shvetashvatara Upanishad, 5th chapter, 9th verse, Balagra Shata Bhagasya Shatada Kalpitasya cha. See, Shatada. The tip of the hair, cutting that into 100 pieces and taking one piece and then cutting that further into 100 pieces. It's like cutting the tip of the hair into 10,000 pieces, and then one piece is actually described as the size of the soul. And we cannot view that through the microscope. In that form, Mahadeva is described as residing in the heart. And also he is described with a beautiful form. We'll be seeing that now. And then again Sutta Samhita, Jnana Yoga Kandam, 19th chapter says, Vaishvanaram Jagadyonim Shika Tanvinam Ishwaram Tapayantam Swakam Dehamapa Datalamastakam. Though he is present in the minutest form, in the size of a thumb, in the heart, he is still pervading the Jiva's body without touching any of his organs. He is still pervading all the body of the Jiva. And then it describes Nilatoyatamadhyastat. He is also described where he is the Upanishads also describe where he is residing. Padmakosha pratikashakam hridayam chapyudomukam ato nishtyavidasyante nabhyamuvartishtati. He is present above the navel and below the larynx, neck. And then he is described as Nivarashuka Vattanvi, Nivarashuka Vadrupam Pitabasam Vichintaye. That golden complexion Mahadeva is present as the smallest of the smallest in the heart. That's how he is described. And who is that? What is his form? Tasya vanhe shikayam tu madhye paramakaranam. Paramatmanam Anandam Paramakasham Ishwaram Ritam Satyam Param Brahma Sambam Samsara Peshajam. See? That's how he is described as. Ritam, he is the righteousness personified, and he is also truth personified. Param Brahma, he is the supreme absolute truth. Sambam, he is described as along with Parashakti and Paramashiva. He is described that Samba Shiva is eternally with Parashakti. Parashakti is sitting in the left lap of Paramashiva. Samsara Peshajam, one who relieves you from the repeated cycles of birth and death. Urdhvaretam, Virupaksham, he is described as three-eyed. And he is always the supreme. That's why he is called as Urdhvareta. And then Vishwarupam. Virupebhyo Vishwarupebhyo namo namo. Rudram says Maheshwaram. And he is also described as Nilagrivam, blue-necked. Swamatmanam Pashyantam Papanashanam. One who gets you, one who relieves you from all the sins. Mam Brahma Vishnu Maheshanair Gyeyam Gyeya Vivarjitam. It describes. And he is served by Brahma and Vishnu and Rudra. That's what. And we saw that yesterday also how Mahadeva is described. That form. Umarda Vigraha Shriman Somarda Kritashekaraha Neelakanto Niradaro Nirmalo Nirapallavaha. This is that form that one should meditate on. The one who is described as blue-throated, one who is described as eternally with Parashakti, and who is described as having a beautiful Chandra on his forehead. And also he is described as three-eyed. These are the forms of that Parabrahman. We will be discussing what are the features and attributes of Lord Shiva. How is he described in the Shastras, and how Sutta Maharshi also describes that. That is that form one should meditate on. That is the highest form of meditation. And there are other forms also, of course, like but it limits only to the forms of Maheshwara. Either you can meditate on him as Ekamukha Samba Shiva along with Parashakti, or Panchamukha Samba Shiva, where Parashakti is sitting on the left lap of Paramashiva, or Shivakama Sundari and Chidambara Nataraja, or Kalyana Sundaramurti along with Parvati Mata, or Tiruvaru Tyagaraja with Kamalambika, or Sarva Mangalambika with Pallikondeshwara, where Pallikondeshwara is actually on the lap of our dear mother, Sarva Mangalambika. In whichever way you want, but it limits only to the forms of Maheshwara. Because by meditating on the form of Maheshwara alone, one gets relieved from the repeated cycles of birth and death. We'll be seeing that, how Mahadeva says that, and also even the Devas say that. Now, describing about the features and attributes of Lord Shiva from the Shastras, the Upanishads describe, he is described as five-faced, Panchavaktram. And then 10 hands, with 10 hands, Dasha Bhujam. And we saw this form is exactly the form of, that is Bhagavad Gita itself describes this form only. In the Uttarakandam, 175th chapter of Padma Purana, Vishnu describes to Lakshmi about this form being the form of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita itself is the words of Lord Shiva. We have seen that in many of our lectures, and I have posted a 10 to 11 minute video in my channel talking how actually Bhagavad Gita explains about Shiva Tattva, and Bhagavad Gita is actually the words of Lord Shiva, and Bhagavad Gita itself is Shiva Swarupa. One can watch that. So that is second one. The five faces, that is one attribute of that Parabrahman. The second attribute is 10 hands having Dasha Bhuja. And third attribute is he is Chandra Chudeshwara. He has a beautiful Chandra on his forehead. And then fourth is Neelakanta or Neelagriva. We saw that Neelakantam comes twice in the Vedas. Trilochanam Neelakantam Prashantam, Kaivalya Upanishad. Neelakantam Trinetram cha Tanme Mana Shiva Sankalpamastu, Shiva Sankalpa Upanishad. Neelagriva comes 6 times in Rudram, blue-necked. And then Shitikanta comes again 3 times in Rudram. And Trinetram is another attribute, 5th attribute of that Parabrahman. He is described as eternally 3-eyed. Trilochanam, Trinetram comes in the Shivasankalpa Upanishad and Kaivalya Upanishad. Trayambakam comes all over the Vedas. Trayambakam Yajamahe. Uma Sahayam, he is eternally with Parashakti. Namo Hiranyabhagave, Hiranyavarnaya, Hiranyarupaya, Hiranyapatage, Ambikapataya, Umapatage, Pashupatage, Namo Namaha. Umam Haimavatim, Kena Upanishad. And also he is described as golden complexion. Golden in complexion, completely golden in complexion. And then he is also described as Pashunam Pati. From the blade of a grass till Vishnu, he is described as that Pati for all the Pashus. These are some of the divine attributes that is spoken of in the Upanishads. And Hiranya is mentioned everywhere. Brihadaranyaka talks about it. Chandogyam talks about it. Namo Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Pikitam Mukam Tatvam Pushan Apavranu Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye. That golden effulgence coming out of that Mahadeva. I want to have vision of that Mahadeva who is completely divine, who has divine qualities and characteristics and attributes. Pushan Ekarshe Yamasurya Prajapatya Vyuha Rashmin Samoha Tejo Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam. Kalyana Gunangal. It comes in the Ishavasya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Chandogyam describes about Hiranyashmashru Keshaha. His hair is golden, his nails are golden. Apranasvat Sarva Eva Suvarnaha. Everything is golden. And also we have Taittiriya Upanishad. Saya Esho Antarakritaya Akashaha. Hiranmaya Purushaha. Mahanarayana also talks about it. And then Mundaka Upanishad also. It describes Mahadeva to be Rukma Varna. And when that golden complexion Mahadeva is being meditated in the heart, and when the Jiva decides to travel towards that golden complexion Mahadeva, then he gets rid of all the pasha, sarva pashaihi. He gets rid of, Shvetashvatara Upanishad says sarva pashaihi. He gets rid of all the pashas and he goes back to Parakailasha eternally to serve Mahadeva. And there is no coming back again. So these are some of the divine attributes and characteristics that are described in the Shastras for that ultimate reality. 5-faced, 10 hands, and then having a Chandra, Shekara, Nilakanta, Trinetra, Uma Sahaya, Hiranyavarna, Pashunam Pati. And then we saw how Mahadeva, after the Devas practiced Pashupata Vratam, they applied Bhasma all over their body and they recited the Atharvashiras hymns and also the Rudram hymns. And then Parameshvara appeared in front of the Devas in his true Swarupa. And then it describes, the Suta Maharshi describes, Sannidhyam Akaro Drudrak Sakshat Samsara Nashakaha Yam Prapashyanti Vedantai Swarupam Sarvasakshinam Tameva Shankaram Sakshat Drishuk Surasattamaha Yamna Pashyanti Duvrattaha Shrautasmarta Vivarjitaha. See, that form, Suta Maharshi says to the rishis in Naimisharanya, that form which everyone experiences after reading the Vedanta. After reading the Vedanta, that form which actually one looks at, one has the vision of that form actually was seen by the Devas. After reading the Vedas and Vedanta, that this form of Mahadeva should be meditated upon. This form is actually the only object of meditation according to the Veda Vedanta. So this is what people will come to conclusion after reading the Veda Vedanta. So that form, after reading the entire Veda Vedanta, that form which one experiences, that form was seen by the Devas. That's what Suta Maharshi explains. And then that form which one cannot experience by not practicing the Shrauta Smarta was seen by the Devas. Aneka Janma, Bahunam Janmanamante Mahadeva Prasadataha. If one has to come to the fold of Shrauta Smarta, it happens only by the grace of Mahadeva. And by practicing that for many years and many Janmas, one gets to know about Mahadeva. One gets to engage in Shiva Bhakti. That form was seen by the Devas. And the Brahmanas recite the Vedas invoking this form of Mahadeva. That's why it says, and then for destroying all the sins, the yogis worship this form of Mahadeva. For attaining samsara mochakaha, for attaining vimochanam, for getting relieved from the cycles of birth and death. This form of Mahadeva is glorified and this form of Mahadeva is meditated. That's what Suta Maharshi says. And then Lord Shiva appears in front of them. And then he says, Vilokya Devan Akilan Pritosmitya Bravidvaraha Punar Devan Samalokya Rudro Vishnu Purogaman Praha Gambiraya Vacha Bhagavan Karunanidhihi Ahameva Param Tattvam Matto Jatak Jagatsuraha. He appears in front of all the demigods like Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, and he says, I am the ultimate Tattvam, Paratattvam. That's why we say only three things are there: Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, Pashupati, Pasham. From the blade of a grass till Vishnu, everything is Jiva. Indra, Brahma, Vishnu, Agni, Varuna, Vayu, everything is everything. Everybody are actually Jivatmas. And then the Pati, the Shiva Tattvam is the highest Tattvam that one can know. That is the ultimate Parabrahmam, the supreme reality. And then the Jagat is actually the bondage, that is the world. Jiva Jagat Ishvara Pashupati Pasham. He says, Mahadeva says, I am the ultimate Tattvam. And then he says, the entire Jagat, the entire world has emanated from me. Isha Vasyam Idakam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktena Bunjita Ma Grada Kasyas Vidhanam. All the Jivas and the Jagat has emanated. All the animate and inanimate things appear from Mahadeva. That's what Ishavasya Upanishad says. And this kind of relates to the question what actually the Maharshis asked in the beginning. The Maharshis were interested in knowing who is the cause of all causes. The Jiva cannot be the cause of this world. Jagat by itself cannot appear. So who is the cause of this Jiva and Jagat? That was the question asked and they get the answer here. Mahadeva says, I am the ultimate Tattvam and Jagat has emanated from me. All the Pashus are my part and parcel. Mayeva samsthitam nashtam mat samo nadikak sada mat swarupa parijnana deva samsara nirvatihi. He says, there is nothing that is superior to me, there is nothing that is equal to me or greater than me. Eko rudro na dvitiyaya. Shvetashpatara Upanishad and Atharva Shiras Upanishad says, there is nothing that is equal to Mahadeva or there is nothing that is greater than Mahadeva. And that Mahadeva himself says, there is nothing that is equal to me or greater than me. I am the ultimate Tattvam. And he says, my form alone can remove the ignorance and ahankara. He says, Mat Swarupa Parijnana Deva Samsara Nirhvatihi. By meditating on my form alone, Ajnana will the Jiva will get relieved of Ajnana and Ahankara. That's what he says. This is the most important thing. We saw just before, Suta Maharshi describes that form, one, after reading the entire Vedanta, that form which one experiences, that form was seen by the Devas. And here Mahadeva says, if one wants to get liberated from the repeated cycles of birth and death, there is no point in meditating on Brahma or Vishnu or Indra. Why do you want to meditate on someone who is bound by birth, old age, disease and death? There is no point. So, if you want to get relieved from the repeated cycles of birth and death, you have to meditate on that personality who is not bound by karma or anava or mala. Meditate on that personality who is not bound by the three gunas. Meditate on that personality who is not bound by any pasham or he is not bound by Pava Punya. And that is Mahadeva alone. And that's why Mahadeva says, just by meditating on my form alone can remove the ignorance and ahankara. So meditate on that form. And then Mama Jnanam cha Vedanta Shravanadeva Jayate Mumukshur Vratanishtasya Prashantasya Mahatmanaha Tyakta Karma Kalapasya Dhyananishtasya Shulinaha. He says, by doing Vedanta Shravanam, we saw Atharva Shiras Upanishad is one of the Vedanta, is the end of the Vedas, that is the Upanishads, and Atharva Shiras Upanishad is one of the most important Upanishads. Vedanta Shravanam is important, and doing Vratam and Anushtanam is important. That's what he says. And meditating on me and Parashakti together. By doing so, the knowledge of Mahadeva, my knowledge will dawn within the within your hearts. That's what he says to the Devas. And then he says, Evam mam yo vijanati sa sarvam veda netaraha uktam vedanta vijnanam yushmakam sura pungavaha. He says, and one more thing, we are behind many things in this world, right? Name, fame, wealth, knowledge, we discussed in the first class. But here Mahadeva says, just by knowing me, the jiva comes to know everything. We want to know different things. We want to attain material knowledge. We want to have knowledge of different things. Astrology, astronomy, social science, everything, all sorts of things. But just the Upanishads say, just by knowing that one personality, one gets to know about everything. And who is that personality? Mahadeva. And that's what Mahadeva says. I'll be quoting the references from the Upanishads also. But Mahadeva here, he says, just by knowing me, the jiva comes to know everything. There is nothing that the jiva needs to know after knowing Mahadeva, after becoming the das of Mahadeva. We see when Nandi worships Mahadeva with one-pointed devotion and he asks a boon, I don't want, give me that boon Mahadeva where I have to worship you and not anybody else. The same with Upamanyu Maharshi, the same with Gautama Maharshi, the same with Galava Maharshi, Shvetashvatara Maharshi, Markandeya, everybody. And after Nandi says that, in the 214th chapter of Varaha Purana, it describes all the devas, including Brahma, Vishnu and Indra, and all the 33 crore devatas, all the demigods like Brahma, Vishnu and Indra come to fall at the feet of Nandi because he has won the heart of Mahadeva. See, you get praised by everybody. Everyone will come and fall at your feet if you have won the heart of that Samba, Shiva and Parashakti. There is nothing that the jiva needs to know beyond Mahadeva. He is the ultimate Tattva. And Panchabrahmopanishad says, Kripam chakara tatraiva swantardi magamat swayam yasya shravana matrena shrutameva shrutam bhavet amatam cha matam nyatam avijnatam cha shakala ekenaiva tu pindena mritikayascha gautama. It says, by hearing which alone, the unheard things become heard. By just hearing about Mahadeva, you get to know about it's like you get to know about everything. You have heard about everything in this entire universe by just hearing about Mahadeva. And then he also says, by knowing one lump of earth, it is equal to knowing everything, the whole earth. Just like that, just by knowing Mahadeva, the entire universe, and you get to know about this, you get to know about everything. There is nothing that you need to know beyond Mahadeva. This is told in the Panchabrahma Upanishad. The unknown is known. And then finally it ends by saying, Asmin Brahmapure Veshma Dakaram Yedidam Mune Pundarikam tu Tanmadye Akasho Dakarostitat. Sa Shivaha Satchidanandaha Sodveshtavyo Mumukshubhihi Ayam Hridi Stitaha Sakshi Sarvesham Avisheshataha Tenayam Hridayam Proktaha Shivaha Samsara Mochakaha. If you want to attain that state where you get to know, where you want to know about everything, then meditate on that Mahadeva in the Hridayakasha. That's how the Panchabrahma Upanishad ends. And the same mantram comes in the Brahma Gita 6th chapter of Sutta Samhita. So, and that's why he says, just by knowing me, the jiva comes to know about everything. There is nothing that the jiva needs to know beyond me. And then Jagatak Karanam Budva Bhajadvam Sarva Karanam Sopi Sarva Jagat Vetuk Somak Somarda Shekaraha. He says, Prasadabi Muko Bhutva Brahma Vishnavadibihi Saha Sanidyam Vedavit Shreshtaha Karishyatya Kileshwaraha. Sutta Maharshi says to the sages, and then he closes the entire chapter by saying, just like the Devas practice the Mahapashupata Vratam, which is very synonymous to Shiro Vratam, Atyashramam and Shambhava Vratam. Atyashramam, Pashupatam, Shambhavam, Tat Shiro Vratam, Ityevam Namabih Punyair Nigamanteshu Giyate. Just like the Devas practice the Mahapashupata Vrata and saw Mahadeva and attained eternal bliss, you also, you Rishis, O Rishis, you also worship Mahadeva and Parashakti by practicing the rules and regulations of the Atharva Shiras Upanishad. And you will have his divine darshan, and you will also attain vimochana, that is, you will get relieved from the repeated cycles of birth and death. And then they offer their obeisance to Sutta Maharshi, and then they And then it moves on. The next chapter is also another beautiful chapter. We can take that up in the next class or in the coming classes. Now, coming to the Atharva Shiras Upanishad, there are beautiful 13 names, 13 to 14 beautiful names described for Lord Shiva. And I'll be going through that. Hridista devatak sarva hridi pranaha pratishtitaha hridittvamasi yo nityam tisro matraha parastu saha tasyot taratak shiro dakshinataha padau ya uttarataha sa omkaraha ya omkaraha sa pranavaha yah pranavaha sa sarvavyapi yah sarvavyapi so anantaha yo anantaha tat taram yat taram tat sukshmam tat shuklam yat shuklam tat vaidyutam tat param brahma yat param brahma sa ekaha sa rudraha ya rudraha yo rudraha sa ishanaha ya ishanaha sa bhagavan maheshwaraha. 13 to 15 names are described, very beautiful. And it explains what is the meaning of that name. Atakasmat uchyata omkaro yasmat ucharyamana eva pranan urdvamut kramayati tasmat uchyate omkaraha. What does it say? Just by reciting that omkara, one gets relieved from the repeated cycles of birth and death and goes to the highest region, that is Somaloka, that is Parashakti, and where the place where Parashakti and Paramashiva reside is actually that Parakailasha. One gets relieved from the Pasha and goes back to Parakailasha. Just by reciting that Omkaram, one goes to the highest place, that is Parakailasha. That's what it says. And there are pramanams for Omkaram also in the Upanishads for applying only for Mahadeva. Bhasmajabala Upanishad starts off by saying Kailasa Shikaravasam Omkarasvarupinam Mahadevam Umarda Kritashekaram. See how it describes. Jabala Maharshi goes to Kailasha, Parakailasha. He gets access to Parakailasha and then he goes there. He sees in the Kailasa Shikaravasam Omkarasvarupinam, that Omkareshwara. See, Omkareshwara is one of the names of Mahadeva. Somanatha, Omkareshwara, Mahakaleshwara, Mallikarjuna, Trayambakeshwara, Bhimashankara, Vaidyanatha, Krishneshwara, Nageshwara, Kedareshwara, Kashi Vishweshwara, Rameshwara. Out of the 12 Jyotirlingas, one of the Jyotirlinga is named as Omkareshwara. He is the Ishvara of Omkara. Omkareshwari is Parashakti, Uma, and then Omkareshwara is Mahadeva. So here Jabala Maharshi envisions, he looks at Mahadeva, he is Omkaras Propinam, that Mahadeva is eternally with, sharing half of his body with Uma, and then he is described as Chandrasekhara. He is described as having the moon, crescent moon, and he also goes on, Vyagra Charmam Baradara, and then he describes Soma Suryagni Rochana, Trinetra, Nilakanta, Nilagriva, he goes on describing. But here Omkara Swaropinam comes. Atharvashika says, Chaturthi Ardhamatra Sa Somaloka Omkaraha. It says that Omkara is actually Mahadeva is representing that Omkara. Mahadeva is described as Omkareshwara. By meditating on that form of Mahadeva in the heart and by chanting the name of Mahadeva, by hearing the Katha of Mahadeva, one gets to know about that Omkara Svarupa. So the Omkara Svarupa is Mahadeva. Sa Esha Urdvam Annamayatityo Sa Esha Urdvam Annamayatityomkaraha. Just by Atharvashika Upanishad says, just by reciting that Omkara, one gets uplifted to Parakailasha. Because Omkara is Mahadeva alone. By meditating on the form of Mahadeva, one gets access to that Omkara. He is Omkara Swarupa. He is the Ishvara of Omkara. Omkara appears from him. Shambhur Akasha Madhye Dhruvam Stabdvadikam Kshanamekam Kratushatasyapi Chatuk Saptatya Yatphalam Tadavapnoti Kritsnam Omkara Gatim Cha. Sarvadhyana Yoga Jnananam Yatphalam Omkaro Veda Para Ishova Shiva Eko Dhyeyaha Shivam Karaha. Atharvashika. Just meditate on that Mahadeva. So one will get the benefit of chanting the Omkara. Meditating on Mahadeva in the heart alone, one will get the benefit of doing the Vedic sacrifices and chanting the Omkara. So the Omkara or the Supreme Isha alone knows the result of all the Dhyana, Yoga and Jnana. And Shiva alone should be meditated, that Shivam Karaha, that Shiva, the doer of good to everything, to the entire Vishwam, he should alone be meditated upon. That's how Atharvashika ends. But Omkara, it talks about Omkara. And then Kena Upanishad mentions about Umam Haimavatim. Omkareshwari is Parashakti. Omkareshwara is Mahadeva. He is the Ishvara of Omkara. That sound Omkara itself emanates from him only. And then going to the next Nama. Atakasmat uchyate pranavaha yasmat ucharyamana eva rigyajuk sama atarvangirasam brahma brahmanebhyah pranamayati namayati tasmat uchyate pranavaha. Then why it is called as pranava? Why Mahadeva is called as pranava? Just by reciting that pranava, he gets the benefit, he or she gets the benefit of chanting all the Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharvana mantras. All the Veda mantras, he gets the benefit of chanting all the Veda mantras by reciting that pranava. And that's why we see pranavam is described also in many Upanishads as actually Mahadeva Swarupa. We also see that when I am describing the Taraka mantram, because Mahadeva is also called as Tara, it's a very beautiful name for Mahadeva. I'll describe about that Pranavam and Omkaram when coming to that name. So then moving on to the next name, Sarvavyapi. Atakasmat uchyate Sarvavyapi yasmat ucharyamana eva sarvan lokan vyapnoti sneho yata palala pindamiva shantarupam ota protam shantarupamota protam anuprapto Vyatishaktascha tasmat uchyate sarvavyapi. Why is he called as Sarvavyapi? Just by reciting that name itself, one becomes the Sarvavyapi. Now we have to understand this very carefully. It is not you becoming that ultimate reality. The Jiva is still subservient to Mahadeva. It is just like an ocean is there, and there are various fishes in the ocean. We are actually described as the fishes. The ocean doesn't lose its magnanimity, or the drops in the ocean. We are the drops in the ocean. Even if we take out some drops, the ocean is ocean. The ocean is compared to Mahadeva, and we are the drops in the ocean. So we get access to all the worlds, and one who becomes a Shiva Gana, he is worthy of being worshipped even by Brahma, Narayana and Indra and all the Devas. But still that Shiva Bhakta is subservient to Mahadeva. That's how that Bhakta will think of. I am always the Dasanu Das of Mahadeva. It's just like even this Upanishad says, like the oil in the oil seed. Or like the drops of water in the entire ocean. The ocean is Mahadeva, but the drops are we, the Jivas. Atakasmat uchyate ananto yasmat ucharyamana eva tiryak urdvam adastachasyanto nopalabhyate tasmat uchyate anantaha. Why is he called as Ananta? Anadyantamadhyam param tattvamartham chidakaramekam turigam tvamegam haribrahma mrigyam param brahma rupam manovagatitam magakshaiva. Brahma and Vishnu were searching for the beginning and end of Mahadeva. Brahma took the form of a swan, Brahmana Hamsa Rupena. Vishnu took the form of a pig, Vishnuna Kroda Rupina. Anirdeshya Mahalinga Murtaya Jyotishena Maham. Brahma went in search of the beginning, that is the head of Mahadeva. Vishnu went in search of the feet of Mahadeva. Both were not able to find. And since Brahma and Vishnu were not able to find the head and feet of Mahadeva, that's why we see in the Shastras also, whenever Mahadeva gives a boon to Brahma and Vishnu, the only thing that they ask for, I want to have that feet on my head. And that's all I want. I want to keep eternally serving your feet, Mahadeva. That feet, even Brahma and Vishnu were searching for. Brahma and Vishnu always ask for this boon only. Specifically, Vishnu asks for this boon. Oh Mahadeva, I should be eternally serving your feet. Yadi prasanno devesha devadeva maheshwara bhavanya sahitam tvantu drashtumichami sarvada sarva karmasu sarvatra. Tvameva Shashishekara. I have to give all my activities. I have to engage in completely surrendering all my activities to you only. Tvameva Shashishekara. And I have to be eternally seeing whatever I do. I have to keep eternally seeing you and Bhavani Mata. That's what he says. And Brahma also says the same thing. Because that the beginning and end of Mahadeva was not found even by Brahma and Vishnu. That's why he is called as Ananta. That's why he is described as infinite. Atakasmat uchyate taram yasmat ucharyamana eva garbha janma vyadi jara marana samsara mahabhayat tarayati trayate cha tasmat uchyate taram. See how it describes? It says that one will get, by chanting this Tara, which is the name of Mahadeva, one will get relieved of all the, one doesn't need to worry about Janma, Marana, Mrityu and Jara, Vyadi. Janma, Marana, that is birth, old age, disease and death. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. There is no fear. The Jiva will get rid of birth, old age, disease and death and go back eternally to Mahadeva. And there is no coming back, there is no birth. The Jiva will not take birth again. That's why he is called as Tara. Just by repetition of that name Tara, one will get relieved from the repeated cycles of birth and death, and one will get relieved from Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. And Rudram also. Namas Somaya cha Rudraya cha Namak Tambraya cha Runaya cha Namak Shangaya cha Pashupataye cha Nama Ugraya cha Bhimaya cha Namo Agre Vadaya cha Ture Vadaya cha Namo Hantre cha Ganigase cha Namo Vrikshebhyo Harikeshebhyo Namak Staraya Namak Taraya. See? Taraka mantram. He alone is Taraka. And then Bhasma Jabala describes Om iti eka aksharam. Om iti eka aksharam. Om iti eka aksharam. Nama iti dve akshare. Om is pranava, is that actually one eka akshara, the first akshara. And then nama iti dve akshare. Nama, two aksharas. Shivayeti trayaksharani. Shivayeti aksharatrayam. Shivaya. Those three aksharas. When you combine all three of them, it becomes Om Namah Shivaya. This is the Taraka mantram. Bhasma Jabala Upanishad says. Om Namah Shivaya. That is the Shadakshara mantram, or Panchaksharam is Namah Shivaya. And there is also another mantra called Om Namo Mahadevaya, which is also described in the Bhasma Jabala Upanishad. Ashtakshara mantram for Mahadeva. Ashtakshara mantram is there for Mahadeva also. Ashtakshara Samayuktam Ashtapatrantara Sthitam Koti Koti Ganadhyaksham Brahmanda Kanda Vigraham. Vamadeva is described in the Panchabrahma Upanishad. Om Namo Vamadevaya. Ashtakshara mantram is there. Many Ashtakshara mantrams. Many Ashtakshara mantrams are there for Lord Shiva. Om Namo Mahadevaya. Om Namo Nilakantaya is described in the Linga Puranam. Namostu Nilagrivaya. Where does it come? Rudram says Namostu Nilagrivaya Sagasrakshaya Midushe. Like that. So, but Om Namah Shivaya is the Taraka mantram. Bhasma Jabala says that. And Atharva Shika also says that Sarvebhyo Duhka Bhayebhyah Sam Tarayatiti Taranat Taraha. The same meaning as explained in the Atharva Shiras. One will get rid of all the fears and pains just by chanting. Just by chanting Taraka mantra. And that's why Mahadeva is also named as Tara. And going to the next name. Atakasmat uchyate shuklam yasmat ucharyamana eva klandate klamayati cha tasmat uchyate shuklam. And again, why shukla means he is described as white. Yeah, Shuddha Spatika Sankasham Trinetram Panchavatrakam Gangadaram Dashabhujam Sarva Bharana Bhushitam. Shuddha Spatika Sankasham Yoga Tattva Upanishad Yoga Yajnavalkya Smriti Rudra Lagunyasam describes him to be camphor white or golden in color. Ponnar Meniyane. Just by reciting that Shukla, the word Shukla, one will get relieved of all the pains and miseries. Rudra means one who relieves you from all the sins. One who liberates you from all the sorrows. Atakasmat uchyate sukshmam yasmat ucharyamana eva sukshmo bhutva shariranyat ditishtati sarvani changanyat mimrshati tasmat uchyate sukshmam. Why is he called as Sukshmam? We saw that he is described as the smallest of the smallest. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan Atma Guhayam Nihitosya Tantoho. Nandishvara, when he has vision of Mahadeva, he describes the one who is the smallest of the smallest and the largest of the largest is in front of me along with Parashakti. Drona Parvam. Aniyasam Aniyamsam Brigadyascha Brigattaram Rudram Chekitanam Vrishabam Ajam Dhruvam. That's what it says. So Narayana, after meditating for 66,000 years, he envisions that supreme reality who is described as the smallest of the smallest and the largest of the largest in the Upanishads, along with Parashakti. He experiences that Mahadeva along with Parashakti. He has the divine vision of Parashakti and Paramashiva in Drona Parvam, second last chapter. So we see that how actually he is described as Sukshma. Though he is actually described as Sukshma, he is pervading all over the body. He is pervading the Jiva's body without touching any of the organs. He is present below the larynx and above the navel. Ado nishtyavidasyante nabhyam uparadishtati jwalamala kulambati vishvasyagatanam mahat. Very beautifully it describes how Mahadeva is there in the Hridaya. And then we can go through that. It is described in the Dhyana Yoga Vidhi. We can probably take that up in the coming classes. And then atakasmat uchyate vaidyutam yasmat ucharyamana eva vyakte mahati tamasi dyotayati tasmat uchyate vaidyutam. He is called as Vaidyuta. Vaidyuta means like electricity. When you experience a shock, completely your body experiences that. Your hand, your hand only is touching the electric wire, but your hand alone is not experiencing that shock. The entire body experiences that shock. Like that, though Mahadeva is described as the minutest of the minutest, he is pervading the Jiva's body. And one who becomes conscious of that Mahadeva, who is described as the minutest of the minutest and the greatest of the greatest, Brigate Chavarshi Yase, one gets relieved from all the Pasham, one gets relieved from the repeated cycles of birth and death. And then he is described as electric Vaidyuta because in the state of darkness where nothing is visible, the holy knowledge dawns on him. Because we are in Ajnana, right? We are in darkness. Andamta Maha Pravishanti ye Asambhuti Mupasate, Ishavasya Upanishad says. We are in darkness. So when Shiva Jnana dawns on us, we saw how Shiva Jnana is dawned in the minds of Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. All the Devas practice the Mahapashapata Vratam and then they worship Mahadeva. So like that, we are in the mode of darkness. We are in Ajnana. Kaivalya Upanishad also says, Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabham Trilochanam Neelakantam Prashantam Gyatva Munirgachiti Bhutayonim Samasta Saksham Tamasak Parastat. He goes beyond darkness. He goes beyond the three modes of material nature and he attains that Umasahaya Parameshwara and eternally serves him in Parakailasha. So meditating on that Mahadeva alone, one will get relieved of the darkness. One will get relieved of the repeated cycles of birth and death. One will get relieved of the Maya. That's what it says. And then that is Vaidyuta. Atakasmat uchyate param brahma yasmat param aparam parayanam cha brihatya brahmayati tasmat uchyate param brahma. He is described as param brahma. Ritam satyam param brahma purusham krishna pingalam urdvaretam virupaksham vishwarupam namamyaham. He is described as the greatest of the greatest. So paraat parataro brahma tatparaat parato harihi tatparaat parato ishas tanme manas shiva sankalpamastu. He is also inside everything. Pavitram te brahmanaspate, Rigveda mantra says he enters into everything and he is present in the form of in the size of a thumb. Both Parashakti and Paramashiva, they enter into every jiva from the blade of a grass till Vishnu. And then they are present in the size of a thumb. And he is also present in and out of everything. It says, Yaks maredvai virupaksham sabhahyabhyantarakshuchihi. By just doing smaranam of that Virupaksha, one will get relieved of the sins done outside and inside. Bahya Antaraha. That's why he is present as he is in and out of everything and he is the refuge of everything. He is the final. Sharanagati should be done only to Mahadeva. We see that, we saw that in the lecture of Brahmanda Purana, Shivastuti, where the Devas finally surrendered to Mahadeva. Even Brahmalokam and Vaikuntham was not spared by the Hala poison. And then they had to finally take refuge in Mahadeva. So he is the ultimate refuge of everything and he is bigger than the big. He is the greatest of the greatest. Brihate cha varshigase cha namo vruddhaya cha samvridvane cha namo. Brihate. Brihat means, there is an Upanishad also called as Brihat Jabala Upanishad, given by Jabala Maharshi. So Brihat means he is the greatest. And then moving on to the next name, he is also described as Ekaha. Atakasmat uchyate Ekaha yah sarvan pranan sambakshya sambakshanenajaha samsrijati visrijati tirtameke vrajanti tirtameke dakshinaha pratyancha udanchaha pranchobi vrajantyeke tesham sarvesham iha sadgatihi sakam sa eko bhutascharati prajanam tasmat uchyata ekaha. He is described as Eka because he creates, he destroys, he creates, maintains, destroys, he does Tirobhavam, he does Anugraham, and also he recreates everything. He is that ultimate personality. In the Pancha Brahmopanishad it says, Pancha Krityani Yantaram, Pancha Brahmatmakam Brihat, Pancha Brahmopasamharam Kritva Swatmani Samstitaha. He does 5 activities and also he recreates everything. And that's why he is called as Ekaha. And he is Ekohi Rudro. The one who doesn't have a match, the one who doesn't have an equal, the one who doesn't have anything greater than him. And we'll be seeing that in the next verse. Atakasmat uchyate rudraha yasma drishibir nanyair bhaktair drutamasya rupa mupa labhyate tasmat uchyate rudraha. He is fast moving in form. He is present. His presence is everywhere. One cannot catch him through the mind. He is Achintya and Avyakta and he is Nitya. Achintya means one who cannot be one who cannot be thought in the mind. And Avyakta means he is one who cannot be seen through the material eyes. He is imperishable. And then he is Nitya, he is eternal. And whereas we, the Jivas, are Anitya and we are Vyakta, we are Chintya. One cannot understand Mahadeva through the mind, thought, word or deed, but through unflinching devotion. He says, na karmana na prajaya danena tyage naike amritatva manushaku. Na karmana. It says, by doing papa punya, one cannot understand Mahadeva. Na prajaya, by begetting children. But one thing to be understood is that as long as one is engaged in begetting children and giving the knowledge of Shiva to his children, then there is nothing wrong. Begetting Shiva conscious kids is good. That is fine. But just for the sake of begetting children is not going to work. That is what is highlighted in Kaivalya Upanishad. Na prajaya danena. By amassing a lot amount of wealth, one can never attain immortality. And then Brahma says, Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yoga Davaihi. Through these 3 ways, one can think of attaining immortality. That is attaining Mahadeva's feet. Shraddha, faith. Unflinching faith on Mahadeva. There should not be a drop of faith. Unflinching faith. Bhakti, by devotional service. We saw the 9 ways, Navavidha Bhakti, told by our dear Renukacharya. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Shambhoho, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Marchanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. 9th chapter, 2nd verse. And then Dhyana, meditation on the form of Maheshwara. Not meditating on some random light. We saw that meditating on a light, our knowledge is incomplete. Meditating on the form of Parashakti and Paramashiva in the heart. Jnana Yoga Davaihi. And just by doing these 3 things, one can think of attaining Mahadeva and getting relieved from the repeated cycles of birth and death. And that's what is told here. So, he is not understood by anybody. He is all pervading And he is also present beyond the universe. Vishwadipo Rudro Maharshihi is present in the heart of all the living entities. Only by bhakti he could be understood. By great sages and true bhaktas. Nova Vedatvam Isha Sakshat Viveda Nova Vishnur No Vidata Kilasyam. In front of the Viresha Linga, Abhilash Ashtakam was sung by Vishwanara Maharshi. He says, no one can understand you, O Mahadeva. Even Brahma, Vishnu and the Vedas cannot understand you. Only a true Bhakta who engages in unflinching devotion to your feet can understand you, not anyone else. And that Eko hi Rudro, the verse, interesting verse comes in the Atharvashiras Upanishad. Eko hi Rudro Natvitiya Yatasturya Imam Lokan Ishata Ishani Bihi Pratyanjanas Tishtati Samchako Chantakale Samsirjya Vishwa Bhavanani Gopaha. It says, he is also called as Rudra because he is one without a second. There is nothing that is equal to him, there is nothing that is greater than him. And that's why he is called as Rudra. And he rules over all the worlds. He creates them, preserves them, and then he destroys them, and then he does Thirobhavam and he does Anugraham. And that's why he is called as Rudra. One Rudra. And this verse also comes in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, 3rd chapter, 2nd verse. Exactly the same verse. And also it comes in the Taittiriya Samhita, Yajurvedam. 1st canto, 8th chapter, 6th verse. Pratipurusham ekakapalan nirvapatyekamatiriktam yavanto gruhya smasmatebhyah kamakaram pashunagam sharmasi sharmayajamanasya sharmame yachaika eva rudro nadvitiyaya. Eva rudro nadvitiyaya. He is one without a second. And then moving on to the next name. Atakasmat uchyate ishanaha. Yak sarvan devan anishate ishanibir Janani Bishcha Parama Shakti Bihi. He says, he is the supreme ruler. Ishvara. Ishana means that he is the supreme ruler. That's why Mahadeva is called as Parama Ishvara. He is the greatest Ishvara. He is also called as Anishvara, one who doesn't have anyone to rule over him. Paratpara Ishvara, Parameshvara, Anishvara, Ishana, Utamrtatpasyeshanaha. Where does it come? Purusha Suktam. Uta amritatvasya ishanaha. Uta amritatvasya ishanaha. That Mahadeva is described as the ultimate Purusha. Purusho vai Rudraha. He represents that immortality. One has to surrender to him to get relief from the repeated cycles of birth and death and attain his feet. So, there's a beautiful mantra. It comes in the, this Atharva Shiras belongs to Atharva Veda. And there is a Mahadeva Samam. In Samavedam, there is a beautiful hymn for Mahadeva. It's called as Rudram is also there, and there is a Mahadeva Pradhana Samam. So that verse, the one interesting thing that I noted was that verse which is present there exactly comes in this Upanishad also. I will sing that Samaveda verse also. I will sing that Sama hymn and also this Atharva Veda hymn. It describes Atakasmat Uchyate Ishanaha Yak Sarvan Devan Ishate Ishanibir Jananibischa Paramashaktibihi Amitva Shurano Numo Dugda Iva Denavaha Ishanamasya Jagataha Swar Drishamishanam Indra Tastisha Iti Tasmat Uchyate Ishanaha. This is what is told in the Atharva Shiras Upanishad, Atharva Veda. Now the Samaveda hymn goes like this. Abitva surano numova adugda yivate nava ishanamasya jagatah suvardrisham aisha nama indra Tastusha Ova Hauva Asa. See how it matches exactly. This is how we have to understand. That is Mahadeva Pradhana Samam that is present in the Samavedam exactly comes in this Atharva Vedam. And the reason why is he called as Ishana is he is the ruler of everything. He is the lord of even Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. That's why he is called as Ishana. And then next name, Atakasmat Uchyate Bhagavan Maheshwaraha Yasmat Bhakta Jnanena Bhajanti Anugrahvanati cha vacham samsrijati visrijati cha sarvan bhavan parityajyatma jnanena yogeshvairyena mahati mahiyate tasmat uchyate bhagavan maheshwaraha. Why is he called as Maheshwara and Mahadeva? He devours all the worlds at the end of the during the time of destruction. Rudra, he creates Rudra from his heart and destroys the entire universe. By creating Brahma through his right limb, he creates. By creating Narayana through his left limb, he preserves. He is the ultimate creator and ultimate protector. He is the ultimate creator, protector, and the destroyer of all the worlds. And why is he called as Mahadeva? He is the greatest of the greatest devas. That's why he is called as Mahadeva. He is the supreme reality, and everything is under his control, and that's why he is called as Mahadeva. Devadeva Mahadeva Devanam Abhayaprada Brahma Narayana Indradi Sarvadeva Padaprada. Kashi Kandam, first section, 13th chapter, 9th verse says, O Mahadeva, one who can grant the positions of Brahma, Narayana and Indra, you are that ultimate Devadeva, Mahadeva. And then, so that completes the different names of Mahadeva that is explained in the Atharvashiras Upanishad, and these are the specific names, very specific to Mahadeva. We saw how it cannot be stolen. We cannot take the etymological meaning and apply it to Brahma, Vishnu and Indra. It's so foolish and insane. We saw who is that personality that one should meditate on. Atharvashiras talks about Hrida Hridistam. One should meditate on that personality in the Hridaya, and Suta Maharshi explains who is that personality and who is that personality with the divine attributes. Neelakanta, Chandrachuda, Uma Sahaya, Parameshwara, Vyagra Charmambaradara, Soma Suryagni Lochana, Trinetra. That personality, that Samba Shiva, is the personality that one should meditate in the hearts. The Jiva should meditate in the heart. By meditating on him, one get relieved from the repeated cycles of birth and death, and not anybody else. And these names, all these names refer to that Samba Shiva alone. And then very interesting verse, Yo Rudro Agnavyo Apsaya Oshadishu Yo Rudro Vishva Pavana Vivesha Tasmai Rudraya Namo Asto, which comes in the Rudram, comes in this Upanishad also. Atharvashiras Upanishad talks about that Yo Rudro Agnavyo Apsaya Oshadishu verse, and it also comes in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, 2nd canto, 17th verse. This is how we have to understand the Upanishads. And finally, I would like to mention about the Falashruti of chanting the Atharvashiras Upanishad. With that we can close. It describes that Ya idam Atharvashiro Brahmanodite Ashrotriyaha Shrotriya Bhavati Anupaniti Upanito Bhavati Sogni Puto Bhavati Sa Vayu Puto Bhavati Sa Surya Puto Bhavati Sa Sarve Devair Nyato Bhavati Sa Sarvair Vedair Anudyato Bhavati Sa Sarveshu Tirteshu Snato Bhavati Tena Sarvaihi Kratu Birishtam Bhavati. It says, what is the benefit of chanting this Atharvashiras Upanishad? One gets relieved from all the sins. We saw in the Kaivalya Upanishad. So Agni Puto Bhavati, Surapanat Puto Bhavati, Sa Brahmahatyayah Puto Bhavati. All the Gora Papa, whatever the Jiva, whatever the Gora Papa, whatever the highest kind of sins that the Jiva has done, it will get relieved from all the sins. Kaivalya Upanishad says that, and also Atharvashiras here, it says he gets purified from all the sins that he has done. But as devotees, we should remember one thing. We should not, we have to make sure that we don't do that sin again. We have to engage in doing Smaranam of Mahadeva, and Mahadeva is present in the hearts of all the living entities. From the blade of a grass till Vishnu, he is present in the hearts of all the living entities, and Parashakti and Mahadeva. So we have to see everything as a part and parcel of Mahadeva, and we should not do that, engage in doing that sin again. That's as devotees we need to understand that. And then it says Sarva Jnato, it says Sarvair Devair Nyato Bhavati. He comes to know about all the Devas. We saw Nandi, Brahma, Narayana and Indra, they come to fall at the feet of Nandi because he has won the heart of Mahadeva. The same with Upamanyu Maharshi. Upamanyu Maharshi worshipped only Mahadeva. What happened? Did Mahadeva only appear? No. Mahadeva along with Parashakti in the middle, sitting on Nandi with Ganesha, Kartikeya, crores and crores of Rudra Ganas, along with Brahma and Saraswati, Lakshmi and Vishnu and Indra and Indrani. Just he worshipped only Mahadeva, but everybody came. So that's why it says one gets the virtue of worshipping all the Devas. One gets to know about all the Devas just by worshipping Mahadeva, just by reading this Upanishad. And also, Sarvair Vedair Nyato Bhavati. Sarvair Devair Anudhyato Bhavati. One gets the benefit of studying all the Vedas, and one gets the benefit of observing all the Vedic vows, Vratams and Anushtanams by reading this Upanishad. And one gets the benefit of performing all Yajnas and Kratus and repeating the Itihasa Purana. Gayatriyaha Shashti Sagasrani Japtani Bhavanti. You get the benefit of chanting Gayatri for 100,000 times, and get the benefit of chanting the Puranas and Itihasas and Rudra Mantras, all the Vedas and Upanishads 100,000 times. Rudrani Shata Sagasrani. Rudranam Shata Sagasrani Japtani Bhavanti. It says, one gets the benefit of chanting the Rudram 100,000 times. That's why we discussed in the first class, 100,000. When you recite it 100 times, Nandi recited Rudram 1 crore times. And Mahadeva came in front of Nandi. And then Nandi asked unflinching devotion to I just need unflinching devotion to your feet. So if we recite the Atharva Shiras 100 times Mahadeva, with faith, Mahadeva will come in front of us. 100,000, just by reciting Atharva Shiras one time, it's equivalent to chanting Rudram 100,000 times. So 100,000 multiplied by 100 is 1 crore. So repeating the Atharva Shiras 100 times, Mahadeva will come and stand in front of us. So Rudranam Shatasahasrani Japtani Bhavanti. Pranavanam ayutam japtam bhavati. Also it is equivalent to chanting the pranavam 10,000 times. And he purifies all the past generations. All his ancestors, he will purify them of all the sins, and they will also get liberated. They will also get the benefit of going back to Mahadeva. That's what it says. Sa chakshushaha panktim punati. And also he purifies his past and future generations also. And some of the Upanishads describe that a person who actually engages in reading this Atharva Shiras Upanishad, every person who is born in his clan will be a Shiva Bhakta. Will always be, his mind, thought, words and deeds will be attracted to Mahadeva. That's what it says. And finally, it talks about attaining the post of Ganadipatya. We'll talk about that. It is given by Bhagavan Atharvashiraha. It says, Ityaha Bhagavan Atharvashiraha. We discussed why actually Bhagavan, the word Bhagavan is also referring to Indra, Brahma and Vishnu, and also sometimes the sages, because they talk about the Shiva Jnana, and that's why that Bhagavan name is assigned to them. But the real Bhagavan is Mahadeva alone. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Rudram uses the word Bhagavan 7 times for Mahadeva. Atharva Shiras Upanishad uses the word Bhagavan 36 times for Mahadeva. He is the ultimate Bhagavan. Bhagavati is Parashakti. Ishvara is Paramashiva and Ishwari is Parashakti. Karmanyo Bhavati. Sakrit Japtvaiva Shuchihi Saputaha Karmanyo Bhavati. Dvitiyam Japtva Ganadipatyam Avapnoti. Tritiyam Jatvaivam Avanu Pravishatyom Satyamom Satyam. It says, what does it say? By reciting it once, one becomes pure. One attains that pavitra, pavitratvam. Because we have done crores and crores of sins in crores and crores of janmas. And we'll be still doing that. We'll be still performing in doing, we'll be still doing sinful activities. But just by reciting this once, one gets relieved of everything, of all the sins that he has done, and he becomes holy, pavitra. We saw that it is equivalent to chanting all the Vedas, it is equivalent to knowing all the Devas, it is equivalent to chanting the Pranava, Gayatri, Puranas, Itihasas, Rudra Mantras 100,000 times. That's what we saw. And by repeating it twice, he attains the state of Ganadipatya. This is again very, very important, guys. Ganadipatyam. See, Ganadipatyam, very, 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 very specific to Mahadeva. Ganadipatyam means you attain the leadership of the Ganas. You become the leader of the Ganas in Parakailasha. By repeating it twice, one attains the post of the leadership of the Ganas. Which is very specific. We do not say that for devotees of Indra, or we do not say that for, we do not use this epithet Ganadipatyam for the devotees of Brahma or Vishnu. It is very, very specific to Mahadeva. Jaimini Maharshi attains the state of Ganadipatyam in the Uttarabhagam, Narada Puranam, chapter 73. In the greatness of Trayambakeshwara, after singing a beautiful hymn for Maheshwara, he attains the state of Ganadipatya. Mahadeva offers that. And then Andakasura in the Skanda Purana, 5th canto, first section, 38th chapter, he is interested in getting, I am not interested in attaining the position of Brahma, Vishnu or Indra because they are not perpetual. The only thing that I want is becoming the leader of the Ganas and serve your feet eternally, O Mahadeva. And Mahadeva grants Ganadipatyam to Andakasura, and Nandi also gets that. Bringi also, Bringi also gets that, and then various Ganas. And however you want to serve Mahadeva, we saw that. However you want to serve, if you want to serve him in Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya or Virya, whichever way you want to serve, you can serve him. But Ganadipatyam is very, very specific to the Shiva Bhaktas only. And by chanting it thrice, he attains the Sarupyam of Mahadeva. That's what it says. We saw just by chanting the Stuti in Brahmanda Purana, which also comes in the Matsya Purana, Skanda Purana and Vayu Purana, just by chanting that Stuti, one attains the Sarupyam of Mahadeva. Here also it says that one attains the Sarupyam of Mahadeva by chanting the Atharva Shiras Upanishad 3 times, and then he goes back eternally to Parakailasha, and there is no coming back after that. So this is and it says Satyam Satyam. This is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. 3 times it is told. Where Satyam Satyam comes. Satyam Satyam Nehananasti Kinchit Yadyapyanyaha Kopiva Kutrachidva Vyachastantadhyasya Shaktirmadagre. There is a place, Vyasa Maharshi, he goes to Kashi, right? And then he sings, out of Ahankara he says, Vishnu is the supreme. And then Vishnu himself comes down and gives him the true knowledge. Saying that Maheshwara is my cause. Ahameva Jagatkarta, Mama Karta, Maheshwaraha. Oh my dear Vyasa, so worship only Mahadeva and not anyone else. Because he is the giver of prosperity to me. He is the giver of Lakshmi to me. And I have attained the post of being Vishnu. I have attained the post of being Vaikuntha Pati. By the grace of Maheshwara, so worship him alone. And Vyasa starts his Ashtakam, which is mentioned by our dear Nagalinga Garo. He says, Eko Rudro Natvitiyo Yatastad Brahmai Vaikam Neha Nanasti Kinchit Yadyapyanyaha Kopeva Kutrachidva Vyachastantadhyasya Shaktirmadagre. And we see also very similar verse mentioned by Vishwanara Maharshi. Satyam Satyam Neha Nanasti Kinchit. Oh Mahadeva, you are one without a second. This is the truth. This is the truth. This can be the ultimate truth. Satyam Satyam. That's how this Upanishad also ends, saying Satyam Satyam. Ityupanishad. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I will stand the Kshama Prarthana mantra and we can take up some questions. Om Yadakshara Pada Prishtam Matra Heenam Tigat Bhavet Tatsarvam Shamyatam Deva Parameshwara Namostute Visarga Bindu Matrani Pada Padakshara Cha Nyunani Cha Tiriktani Kshamasva Parameshwara Aparada Sagasrani Kriyante Harnisham Mayadaso Yamiti Mamatva क्षमस्व परमेश्वर अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष महेश्वरी अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष परमेश्वर एतत् सर्वं श्री उमामहेश्वर परब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु ललिताम्बिके साम्बशिवार्पणमस्तु श्रीमती गौरी समेत साम्बशिवार्पणमस्तु करचरणकृतं वा कायजं कर्मजं वा श्रवणनयनजं वा मानसं वा अपराधं विहितम् अविहितं वा सर्वम् एतत् क्षमस्व जय जय करुणा अब्दे श्री महादेव शम्भो माता च पार्वती देवी पिता देवो महेश्वर बन्धवा शिवभक्तांश्च स्वदेशो भुवनत्रयं साम्ब शिवाय नमः साम्ब शिवाय नमः साम्ब शिवाय नमः हर ओं तत्सत्।